up? What up? Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Kingship Podcast. This is episode 5 coming to you on Mother's Day. And before we get into anything, I want to say a happy Mother's Day to all the moms who are listening to this particular podcast. I hope if you're not a mom and you're a son or a daughter, I hope you've taken time to wish your mom a happy Mother's Day. If they're still present, if they're not, my apologies. I am really sorry about that. A happy Mother's Day also to all the moms who have lost their children as well. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. We adore you. We love you. From the Kingship Podcast, a happy Mother's Day to all the moms, past, present, and future. That's out the way. Let's get into the podcast. Now, every week there's something new happening on this podcast. And last week I introduced minisodes called It's a Pop-Up. Like literally, when that episode pops up, it's like, it's another pop-up on the Kingship Podcast. And what's gonna be happening on the pop-up is I'll be introducing you to some music that I am bumping to, artists, creatives, full-length project reviews, and all of that. So if you haven't checked out last week's episode, the first pop-up featured Social Experiment by Ecstatic. I got into that conversation with her a little bit. She explained how, the whole mixtape came about, so you can go ahead and listen to that. Now, let's get into my favorite segment called The Streets is Talking, where I get to read out or play some of your comments about the previous episodes. Now, last week on the main show, on the main podcast on Sunday, I got to host Ugandan hip-hop OG Navio, and he had quite an interesting ranking. Listen to this.
Top 5, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and then we're going to say South Africa, Ghana.
Yep. So I got like a couple, hip-hop heads from all over Africa. I got South Africa, got Ghana, got Kenya, and of course got Nigeria to weigh in on this. And here is what a couple people had to say.
It's Shazar of Mixmasters International and Cloud9 Entertainment. Basically, I'm a music engineer by profession, music producer for a lot of the South African hip-hop acts that you know of, from Lady Zamar, Gigi Lamaine, Zakwe, Big Zulu. I've basically engineered for almost all the artists that you can think of. Okay, as far as my rankings go, the top 5 countries, from what I know, South Africa ranks as number 1, obviously, as the country that's leading the hip-hop music industry in the whole of the continent. I don't really think there's any other country that's pushing it as much as South Africa is. They have the biggest hip-hop festival on the continent. They have all the hip-hop artists coming here, and not only that, they have artists like Nasty C who are signed to Def Jam, and they're doing lots of amazing things, from Casper Nyovest to AKA. Hip-hop it really progressed between the period of 2012 to 2016. We really did very well around there. And before then, they had Squatter Camp, they had Prophets of the City, they had iconic musicians that transversed all the way throughout the continent, and that makes South Africa one of the pioneers of all the leading genres of hip-hop on the continent. Nigeria also comes second because of, obviously, they had Nato C at some point. He opened up the doors for African hip-hop, and they gave us a whole different sound, and Ice Prince came through as well, winning the BET. It was such a major milestone, so I'll put them at number 2. And number 3, I would put Ghana. They have artists like Sarkodie, and they have quite a good history for hip-hop culture as well there. And then on 4th, I would put Kenya. And on the 5th place, I would put Zimbabwe. The reason why I'd put Zimbabwe there is not because of where it is now, because the hip-hop industry is practically not really active, but it is a pioneer. Most of the musicians, or most of the iconic musicians from South Africa came from Zimbabwe or have a strong relationship with the Zimbabwean hip-hop industry. There is a direct correlation and relative history amongst each other. So it's quite imperative for you to also always mention hip-hop, Zim hip-hop in that context.
My name is Bionic, founder of Rap Radio Africa, convener, Lyricist Lounge Nigeria chapter. Hip-hop wise, I don't represent anywhere. I represent hip-hop. I'm pro hip-hop. It's not a place thing. But you could say, okay, who do you prefer, or who do you like to listen to, or what do you know about certain things in hip hop. So taking it from that angle, there's activism-wise, music-wise, hip hop elements-wise, different people, different cities, different countries come to mind. For instance, when you say Uganda, when I say Uganda, I'm thinking Babaluku, I'm thinking Bataka Squad, I'm thinking Abrams, with his with what he's doing with the breakdance school, the academy. If you're talking first people to promulgate hip hop and on the motherland, a lot of people are saying it's Senegal, some are saying South Africa, so these things come to mind. So I'm not going to be bashing anyone or say if their list works or don't work. Everyone has their opinion.
Ondo Strutler as always. Now this top 5 countries representing hip hop in Africa, I think number one, Kwanza, Navio's response in terms of Luga Flow is on top. I think UG hip hop is buzzing, but it's not buzzing because I feel it's like bado wako kwa ile era ya clear cuts running ABCD, but things will change. But in terms of top 5, number one, personally, I'd say South Africa in a stand up with you and matched and questioned, because in terms of their mainstream hip hop is buzzing crazy. The AKAs, the Caspers, the Nasty C's, the MTs, the Shane Eagles, as in they're doing it. The underground on the other side too, in a buzz at the same time. The touchlines, akina Nandile, kuna msari itwa Reason, kuna Abstract, there's Rogue Rapper, in a buzz. It's not buzzing now, since day one. Number one, huko juu, I'd easily put SA. Number 2, Tanzania. Number 3, Kenya, 254, we're here. Number 4, between Ghana and Nigeria, I'd pick Nigeria, number 4, then Ghana, number 5. Honorable mention, maybe Uganda and Botswana.
My name is Nana Obrieboa. Happen to be the founder of Platinum Event Production Africa, with the powerhouse behind the first ever held Uganda Music Awards, and we're also the current franchise management company for the national pageant of Zambia, Miss Zambia. My top 5 countries, purely based on the economics of numbers, facts, and figures. And when I say facts, that is the stats. Numbers don't lie, they say. And also when I talk about the figures, I mean the mileage and the popularity and the whole exposure that those individuals in those very countries have made their industry stand strong above others. I wouldn't think even twice. I mean, I'm going for Ghana, not because I'm a Ghanaian, but I mean, being real on the grind. That look, 2 years ago, 2018, Kwesi Arthur of Ghana was nominated as part of the best international act for BET Awards, and that was one of Kwesi's first coming into the scene, the Grand Day song, and wow, what a song it was, and it was all over. It was maybe somebody in East Africa might say they never heard about it, but hey, it was good enough to receive such recognition from a brand like BET, who've been advocating and really expanding the brand of African music to the world. Let me not even go far. Just last year, the first ever Best International Flow category was won by the undisputed, most original, best ever Ghanaian rapper of all time, and best ever Africa has ever seen. In terms of originality, the man himself, Sarkodie from Ghana. I mean, I don't know what to say about this man, but list hit after hit, collaborating with the Nigerian guys, hit after hit. He's the man. And guess what? Comes again one very big guy, Manifest, There's none to show about this guy, and a very good one, of course, Yale. So, humbly saying that my top 5 rap countries, hip-hop countries in Africa is Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, of course, Zambia. If people don't know, they need to check out legendary Slap D Market 2 and the one and only Kenyan Flowing King Chef 187. Yeah, they need to check him out. And probably I'm gonna go for Uganda, maybe, just for the sake of many reasons. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Yes, indeed. And as usual, you're welcome to share your comments, your thoughts, your feedback, whether you agree or disagree with the sentiments on this podcast. And how you can do that is at Just Ruby V. And also, if you like this content, make sure that you share it. You can find this podcast on YouTube as well. And you can also find it on my Facebook page, Ruby V. So whichever medium you prefer to listen to this podcast, it's available for you. And of course, you can share with your friends as well. Now, today's podcast is a conversation with the one and only Fenamenal woman. Take a listen to this.
She's doing her thing though. She's a real go-getter. Anything you do, she do it better. Yo, big up Ruby on the Kingship podcast. It's a phenomenal woman. Keep it locked. Hello?
What up?
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good, Sama.
Niko fiti maze, umekuaje?
Niko poa. Nimetulia tu like everyone else, like most people.
Like most people, for sure, man.
Yeah.
How you dealing with this isolation period?
I'm okay. I'm cool. I'm just chilling. It's hard, obviously, like your job level, but also I guess it's time to just like take a step back and observe. Yeah. But also try and write, try and keep active in the house. Yeah, it's all good.
Iko tu sawa. What's the first thing you're gonna do when outside is open?
What? You know, I think there's too much to do that I won't do anything. I'll just sit in the house for like an extra day or two and then figure it out.
To structure yourself.
I miss just being able, you know, I'm an introvert, but I miss being able to go anywhere whenever I feel like.
I know. Yeah. It's different when the government says stay home. Yeah, I know.
I've missed the club. I've missed going out.
Live shows.
Going for shows, going for gigs. It's always, those are things I miss.
Yeah, I feel you. Like in Sasa, with all these rising cases, it looks like we're going to be this way for a minute. So I don't know, man.
I think we just have to tulia and see how things go.
Yeah, we do have to. Have
new ways to engage.
Yeah.
Like, keep active in the scene.
Yeah, I feel you. What if like, you know, we're told that this is going to be this way for a minute? I mean, obviously, it looks like, you know, cases are just escalating. Things are not slowing down so far. If they say that, because they're saying, you know, going back to events and live shows, it's going to be a minute before like people get on the ground and talk to their fans and stuff. What do you think, or what's your plan like for the rest of the year? Are you gonna give us another live show online?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, maybe the second half of the year. I think for now I'm just gonna give it a break a bit and engage in other ways. But yeah, for sure, if they haven't opened the gates till end of the year, we'll definitely have more live shows.
We should. You're an incredible performer, fam.
Thank you.
Like it's crazy. Where do you draw, like when you're doing your live shows or when you first started doing your live shows, do you have any performer in mind that you would look at and be like, yeah, this is how I'd want to structure my shows?
I will say I've always loved Chronic. I loved his approach on stage. Like he's just soulful all through. Obviously Beyonce's goals, which like we just let Beyonce be.
Yeah,
so stick to your lane. I think for me, just the thing is to connect with my fans on a personal level. So it's always, I don't care if it's 10 people or thousands of people, it's just like, am I connecting to you individually with this song or this moment? It's about sharing moments for me more than the hype of it.
Yeah, like making it memorable, leaving a fan with something that they could remember about the show.
Yes, and even more, like if I leave there feeling more fulfilled than spent. Yeah, because you know, the energy you get back will always fuel you for more.
Facts. Of all the shows that you've performed at, of all the live shows that you've held, which one would you say has definitely been a highlight so far?
Oh, for sure, my album launch. I think that was a statement for me. I'd say Blankets and Wine last year was it last year or this year? Was it? Yeah, it was December. That was crazy.
It was dope.
Last year, Koroga earlier last year. I think last year I had a really good run with live shows.
Yeah. Last year was preparing us for being inside in 2020, man. So now you just turned 30.
Yes, sir.
Are you where you envisioned you would be at this age?
Not even close.
Okay. What did you want to do that you haven't done just yet? Because I mean, Fena umepulma move.
I wanted to be a millionaire. No, I'm playing. I mean, it's just like, for sure, I am grateful for where I am.
Yeah.
I would never ever take away from that. I think I am in the right place. I've learned quite a lot, and even now in my new age, I'm seeing things in a different way. So I'm approaching my career in a very intentional way. So I can say I am where I would hope to be.
Okay.
I'm now starting to, like, I'm on the next level now. Now I need to push.
Okay, I get that. I get that. I saw a tweet you saying things have changed in your 30s. What's different?
I was just saying nonsense, to be honest. It was a day after my birthday. So just being silly. But, you know, like, it's been a crazy couple of months.
Yeah.
20 has been like 10 years wrapped in 3 months.
I feel.
So, yeah, I think that's just what I was referring to. Like, it's just a lot happening back to back.
Yeah. Okay. What's on your mind right now as far as Fena and approaching this 30 and even beyond as you prepare for, you know, the highest moments of your career? What's on your mind? Like, what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about just being grounded, being solid in my foundation. Like, I've put in so much work in the foundation that I'm more confident in the direction I'm going. I feel bold. I feel confident in myself. So it's just staying alive to experience it.
Party after party.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about, I mean, as a woman whose career is really popping at this moment, I know a lot of women don't like thinking about this, but is there any thought on your mind about family, getting into a relationship? Are you seeing somebody right now?
Next.
Umekata kuambia watu wa hit the DM.
Mtu akijisikia hit the DM, shoot your shot, ukigonga ukita, pole.
Ni sawa. Let me just ask this. I mean, you're a star, and I think like being a superstar, some normal things are hard, you know, like going to the store without getting noticed, you know, or like looking haggard and people see, oh, sinule Fena, sema yo na. What would you say would be the hardest thing about dating Fena, the superstar?
It's actually quite easy because I keep to myself a lot. The hard part is just like there's so many people in my life, so you just finding your place and being comfortable with the many people in my life. But I'm also very private, and the people who are in my core circle, they know. Okay, they know what's up. So if we're together, we're cool. Like it seems pretty easy for me.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. Now let's go back to this foundation that you've spoken about. Like you've put in the work, you've built the base. So let's go to that beginning. You know, a lot of artists complain about the lack of a mentorship while coming up or getting into the game. Did you have someone hold your hand coming up? I mean, I know you did BGVs for MDQ, and that's a conversation that I also want to get into. But like, did you have people just telling you, Fena, this is how you dress, this is how you handle yourself on stage, this is how you handle an interview, stuff like that?
I think those are things I just picked up along the way. I can't say one specific person was telling me do this or that, but I picked it up from, you know, guys like Muthoni, being a backup singer for her, being a backup singer for Della. Used to hang out with Sauti Soul, Lelani, those guys back in the day. So just watching them start out was great, you know, groundwork for me. A lot of the things I've learned by mistake along the way. Yeah.
Now, speak to me about your relationship with MDQ. The very first time that you guys met, how did that conversation go?
So what happened was I won this French singing competition at Lyon. And then Polycarp or Sauti Soul was like, there's this lady called Muthoni who's looking for backup singers. Would you be interested? And at that time, Muthoni was singing with Chwea and Maureen Ovelani. They were her backup singers. So I joined the team, and that's how we met.
Yeah.
And we had a short stint, and then she went her way, I went my way. Then I think just along the way, just linking up and building a sisterhood there that's just, has seen us through the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely someone I look up to. Yeah. She's my voice of reason.
Yo,
we argue a lot.
Yeah, Muthoni will do that. She'll put you in your place like, nah, fam, like this is how it's supposed to go.
We argue quite a bit, but with love, with a lot of love, and just like she's almost always right.
Yeah.
we'll always argue about things, but I love her, and yeah.
Okay, tell me. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It's important to have someone, looking out for you in the industry.
True.
Yeah.
True. What would you say has been the greatest lesson that you've learned from Muthoni? Like based on how she moves, how she talks, how she handles her affairs, how she's spoken to you and handled people around her as well. What has been like one lesson that you will carry with you that you try to apply also in your career as well?
Wisdom. She's a fountain of wisdom. So just like every big decision I'm about to make, I think, okay, what would Muthoni say? What would this other person say? How would they approach the situation? She's very wise. Yeah.
Yeah. Which other female artists inspire your craft? Do you have any?
Interesting. I would say Tiwa. Not used to, but I'm a big Tiwa fan. I love Zinia.
Oh, yeah.
I love Zinia, Valerie, Carol. There's a lot of young female artists coming up who are really dope, I'm feeling. Growing up, I used to listen to a lot of India Ree, Jill Scott.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. With a career spanning 10 years, a lot has happened. 2 albums dropped. You've launched your Fenamenal style brand. What would you say has been your highlight so far? Like, what has been the craziest experience so far of your career?
Oh, there've been way too many to count. I think every experience has its high, like, I remember the AKA Blankets and Wine 2 years back.
And that was crazy.
It was crazy. And as soon as I got on the stage and just saw the crowd, like, all the way to the end screaming, it was just like, oh my God, is this happening?
Yeah.
Like, and the energy just carried through. I've won a few awards. I have worked with incredible people. I've been on Coke Studio with Olamide. Like, I've had quite a good run.
Yeah, that's dope. But what are some of the features that you would have loved to have within this 10 years that still haven't happened yet, but you're still thinking of, we must make that happen?
The long-standing Calligraph Jones.
Okay.
That's done. We actually, you guys don't know, but we have maybe a few, like 2 or 3 songs. We never really got around to it. Nyash, for sure. I'd love to work with Nyash. Sauti Soul.
Yeah.
I like Masauti. I think that would be an interesting mix. Pretty much anyone who's dope. Me, I'm always just down to work.
Okay.
If I feel you, if you're dope in your music, I'm down to work.
What would it take to work with you? Like just you being dope and I like your style of music.
You being dope and I can see that you're, heading somewhere with, like, you're serious about the career. It's not just a hit and then you're out.
I see.
Someone who's establishing a firm career.
I see, yeah. Okay. So, speaking of Cali and these songs that are in the can that we haven't heard yet, did he really turn down your collabo or were you just playing?
Which one will work better for us? Which answer do you prefer for the tabloid? Which one do you prefer?
Ila alikuambia to relax.
Calligraph is my brother. That's a big brother.
Yeah.
So it's the rhyme. It's all for the rhyme.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So what are your, let's get into now Fena the person. I saw the video, even when your mom came on stage when you were launching the album and she was like, Sema yo na. And your sis also got on stage with you. Have you always had this support from them from jump? Or was it like a bit of a fight when you decided that, okay, hey, listen, I'm going to do music, and it was like, yo, music? What are you talking about? How did that go?
So my sister is a classically trained singer. She did have a master's in music in the States.
Wow.
And that's a time when folks taking their kids to the States was to do like computer science type of things,
Yeah.
And my mom was just always like, if that's what she wants to do, that's what she'll do. So she's always been very supportive.
That's dope.
Obviously, there was a bit of back and forth right after uni because I was jobless, just farming at home. But I actually told her, just give me some time, and then when you see what I'm trying to do, you'll understand it. So when I launched my first album, after the gig, she looked at me, she's like, I see what you're doing.
Okay.
Then that was it.
Okay, that's dope. A little birdie also told me that your sister is a psychiatrist. Do you have mental health conversations with her? Like, those very uncomfortable conversations about like, yo, I'm really not feeling today, or like even before your career popped off, because I know a lot of people usually go through this. It's like, oh, my career is not popping. I'm doing all the right thing. I'm going to the right places. I'm putting in the little money that I have, but my career is not popping. So you might fall into a depression. Do you have open conversations with her about, your bad days, as open and as candid as possible?
Yes. So also my mom is a therapist.
Oh, nice.
So I'm surrounded by a lot of like people who put me in place, put my mind in place. My sister is actually the most perfect person for me when it comes to when I'm having challenges with such things. She attacks everything to the point, and she's always been a helpful resource for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it's the last point of advice I seek after I've consulted with most people, then I go to my sister, because then she puts everything in place.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. How do you unwind? How do you deload? Let's say.
I just chill, man. I'm such a homebody. I watch series. Like now, I've just been watching pretty much everything there is to watch. Once in a while, I'll read. Once in a while, well, not once in a while. Often, I've been playing guitar and keys, just trying to learn.
Nice.
Yeah. Just doing small things in the house. That's my chill plan. Or taking long drives.
I see. Of all the aspects of artistry, we're talking from writing music to recording, shooting videos, live shows, etc., all that, photo shoots. What is your favorite part about being an artist?
Well, everything.
Oh, you like it all?
I love it all. Right from recording, right from being in studio to the moment you're on stage. I think every step has its own power. I don't know how to explain it.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand completely.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are your guilty pleasures, Fena?
My guilty pleasures.
Besides using warm milk for cereal, Fena, who does that?
Which I'm about to do for lunch. Guilty pleasures. I wouldn't say any on air. Those are the ones I'll keep to myself.
Tuonge kando.
What did you say is yours?
My guilty pleasure, I would say maybe chilling in the house naked a lot, cooking naked.
Okay.
I think I almost do everything naked. Like I get to my door and I remove clothes.
I think for me it's being braless. That's like, I think every woman's pleasure is to be braless.
True. Me, bras and panties, we don't do that over here. Hell no. Talk to me about Fenamenal Entertainment.
So that's the business entity that Fena is under, which is music, fashion, and lifestyle.
Yeah.
So the music being the music, fashion being Fenamenal style, which on IG, if you go check, there's a lot of stuff you can get there, merchandise, headphones, kind of thing. Then there's the lifestyle part, which is more brand influencing and being an ambassador for brands and just influencing lifestyle. Yeah.
What inspires your fashion? What inspires your style? Because your style, like it's really, I think it's very impeccable. So what inspires that?
I think I got it from my mama.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like when I was growing up, she'd put me in dope things from around the world or things like that. Where I got to travel quite a bit when I was younger, and I guess those influences picked up on me. Yeah. But also I've always been a smart casual kind of person. So yeah, I just like being comfortable and looking cool with that.
Okay. So this Fenamenal style fashion brand, that would, like, if you could use 3 words to describe it, what would those words be?
I'd say comfort, sleek, stylish.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that. I dig that a lot, man. Did you finally get to meet Huda and shake her hand and tell her she's doing her thing?
Yeah. We're cool. We're cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Fena, as someone who has like a lot of following on social media, you know, people are always about your business, and I've seen you trending on Twitter a couple times. How do you deal with social media trolls? How do you ensure that doesn't get to you? Or even if it does get to you, how do you come back and tell yourself like, okay, that's just social media, I'm still sure of the person that I am?
I think one of my resolutions here was not to snap back anymore. But if you push me like to
some people deserve to be put in their place.
Yeah. After a while it became to me more that these are people who are either jobless or have nothing much of their own to show for. For themselves. Right?
Yeah.
So I'd be wasting my energy fighting with someone who's just like, it's like arguing with a fool.
Yeah.
Then
True.
you become the fool.
Yeah.
So I think I just took that narrative around and just be like, you know what, I would do every day. It's an actual fight I'm having every day, not to snap back.
Yeah.
Because some people is just like,
honestly,
I just want to tell you just with one sentence and shut you up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Let me just
what would Jesus do?
Yeah. Also, I'm a bad girl, you know, like.
Yeah.
We don't take these things lightly, but also I'm also aware of what the vision is. So I'm looking for it.
I feel you. Yeah. What are those DMs looking like? What's the strangest DM you've ever received?
Man, my DMs are so boring.
Fena unadanganya.
It's this one for hi, I'm your fan. You know, like nothing of sorrows, nothing.
For real?
Maybe one loose one here or there, but nothing crazy.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we'll choose to believe it. We'll choose to believe it for now. We'll choose to believe that for now. All right. So what about this moment in your life? Because I also saw another tweet of you saying, I'm in my prime and I'm not going to stop telling you this. What about this moment in your life makes you feel like you are at that point?
Man, I'm just happy where I am. I'm feeling like what's the word? I'm coming together as a person, as a whole. So just that feeling of confidence in self, which is something, you know, we all struggle with at some point or other. You know, I've looked forward to 30 for 30 years. I'm just happy to be alive. I think that's the thing I'm feeling most.
And I mean, you're finally getting recognition for your work. People recognize Fena. They understand that. Yeah. So that's dope.
Yeah, it's been a long time. A long time working.
Finally, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're not even close. We're not even halfway or quarter way of where we want to be.
What would happen for you to actually say that, you know what, I'm getting to that point where I envisioned for myself?
You know, it's never enough, but I would say by the time we're doing international shows and awards and just, you know, being recognized as Kenyan ambassadors, I think for me would be one of those like, man, we're actually doing the thing we set out to do.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And then, you know what I think we're parking lot pimping.
Iced out.
Yeah, iced out for days.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But just, you know, being able to represent for my country.
That'll be dope. That'll be dope. Talk to me about Unleashed. I was listening to the album and there's different sounds on there. What was your mind state actually when you were creating this album? 15 tracks. How long did it take you to create that? Did you, because there's a couple singles on there that you'd already released, like She Doing a Thing Though, and a few others. Did you, when you were releasing these singles, did you have it at the back of your head that they were gonna land on the album, or was that something that happened after you saw maybe the success of the single and you decided that, I might put this on a project?
No, for sure they were. I knew they'd be on a project. I'm always working towards a body of work. It was just like, and these songs were hit singles, so I didn't want them to just be hanging out of a body of work.
Yeah.
So just threw them in just to also have like a one-stop shop for everything.
Okay.
A song like The Easier was actually going to be on the album, and then it's like last minute, or probably even like the day before sending it out, I was like, no, no, this song has to be on the album. Because I feel like it didn't go far, but for me, like as the artist behind the song, it's like this was the beginning of Unleashed for me.
Okay.
Just the message behind it was just like coming out strong and just like, oh, no one can do this, just like putting a stand. And so the album itself is basically me, just the bold side of me coming out. Like, I'm not gonna take anything from anything to pull me back. Yeah.
You're unleashed.
I'm unleashed. And just, it's really pushing. It's inspiring to be able to stand your ground. Yeah.
How important is it as an artist, or even as a person in your position, or just even as a regular person? How important is it to stand your ground on things that you believe in?
If you don't stand for anything,
you will fall for everything.
Yeah. So, kujijua ni muhimu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're really self-aware, or is every day a day of self-discovery?
Oh, every day is a new day of discovery.
What have you?
I am so far from. I'm so far from what I want to do, or who I want to be. Yeah.
So, in these 10 years, what have you discovered about Fena? The person and the artist.
I'm built tough. I always thought I was soft and like weak and just like very reserved.
Yeah.
But then I think the more I grew up, it's just like, actually no, I'm pretty dope and I'm pretty strong and I was raised by strong women. So why not represent for that?
Yeah. That's dope, man. Listening to your music is a breath of fresh air. I gotta say that Monday Blues on the album.
It's dope.
It is so dope, yo.
That's definitely high up the list of my favorite songs.
Yo, that song is fire. And the fact that it's just, when you click on the album, it starts like that. It's like, okay, now I can dive into it. I want to listen to this.
Yeah. The flow of the album takes you through different feelings from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
And I made it such that towards the end, it's just like taking you to the club and getting you hyped.
Yep. It really came together. How long did it take you to put together this album from start to finish?
Oh, it's been years in the making. I'd say maybe like 3 years ago.
Whoa.
3 years ago, because like songs like Steam came out 2 years ago, right? Yeah, so it's just been adding songs, and then there are many songs which didn't make it to the album anyway. Yeah, so those I'll carry forward
to the next project.
Yeah.
Do you pride yourself as more being an artist who releases projects as opposed to singles? Like, which one do you prefer? Projects. Why is that?
There's a whole new level of I want to say validation, but it's not even validation. It's just like what's to show for your work.
Okay.
So it's always more meaningful when you have a body more than just a song, because songs come and go.
People forget.
Yeah, but if you have it in one place, like these are 10 songs or so, when people get to relate to you better because you give them an array of you, not just one version.
Yeah. True. I agree with that. You got a new single out, Save the World.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to me about that.
So, Save the World. Basically, it's a song about humanity and just looking out for each other. We're living in the worst of times. And we've seen the worst of things happen to people. A lot of discrimination, a lot of hatred, a lot of bullying even.
Yeah.
To save the world from, it's just like, when will all this end?
Yeah.
Why if it was up to me, I would change everything and make this world this ideal place.
Yeah.
So that's my ideal world to live in.
Yeah, so this single, I wanna ask you like a very heavy question, because I mean, I just have to. The single was produced by Jazz, right? Who I think like a couple weeks ago, towards the beginning of the year or something, someone came out and said, yo, that some shit went down and Jazz did this to me. I don't know. Where's your stand on that? Are you still working together, or is that, because I know like a couple artists like Valerie, they're no longer working with him because they're in support. I don't know. Where do you stand on that?
It's been a very tough conversation to have, and I've had it with very strong people in the industry, and it's still an ongoing conversation. I will say this. First and foremost, I do not condone any kind of violence or, aggression against women.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I've known Jazz for maybe 12 years. So that's a very sensitive thing to ever discuss in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Are you having like private conversations with him? Have you had a one-on-one with him? Because I know he said that he was going to address the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he was going to address the situation in due time, but I guess that has kind of died down and nothing has really happened. Have you had a conversation with him one-on-one?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
For sure. Because you see, also it's my career on the line.
Yeah.
And he's also someone I've grown to love and respect.
Yeah.
So just hearing this side of things was just like, let's have a convo about it first. Because also he has a lot of my work.
Yes.
Right?
This is
so,
literally your career on the line.
Yeah. And it's very sensitive. Even just as I'm having these convos with people in the industry, it's just like, it's a sensitive one for me.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that.
With compassion and with empathy for the situation. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Now, I want to finish off this convo because we are getting into like 40 minutes of talking, and I want to ask you something that, a lot of people keep talking about online, and that would be the explicit nature of Gengetone's lyrics. I want to just hear your 2 cents.
Hey, this interview has become tough. Me, I was just chilling. I was just minding my business.
Just hanging out.
Staying away from COVID. Okay, here's the thing. So I'll start with the important things being Gengetone has employed so many youth.
Yeah.
And it's giving them an opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
However, they need to be responsible with this opportunity because we as the audience don't have time for, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
However, on the flip side, if you look at the international industry, like in the States, those lyrics would be baby lyrics compared to what they sing out there. So we also can't be the ones to, there's lines they've crossed. That one for sure we can't condone.
Yeah.
But then the nature of Gengetone is very secular, very shake your ass, do this, do that. So there's a way to do it and do it tastefully, I think. Definitely,
yes.
Yeah. So if it was up to me, it would be more mentorship.
Oh,
like a
yes.
big sister to them and tell them like, yo, here, this will rub people the wrong way, or this is just for fun.
Yeah.
Like Cancel has done it. Cancel has managed to keep dirty but also clean in a weird way.
Yeah. I mean, even Onini used to do it with Manziwa Nairobi and whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like there's the thing is like there's a way to sing about sex and getting girls without sounding invasive,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where they cross the line. Like it's like, okay, I mean, everyone likes to have sex, I know, like and turn up and do whatever, but like there's ways you can approach the conversation and make it sound ratchet, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is also, a lot of things are lost in translation because this is a whole new generation.
Yeah.
They speak, metoka mtaani, so there are things they will say that I'll probably understand, but someone on the other side of town won't get. So it becomes, again, a whole other fight.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they just need to realize we are the gatekeepers also of your careers when it comes to such things. So if you keep poking at the listeners in a negative way, we'll cancel you eventually. So just keep that in mind as you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Thank you so much. This has been a long time coming, man.
Yeah, it's been so long. Have you ever done this before?
Imagine we've never.
Okay.
Hii ni maisha gani?
Tunapatananga tuku nje.
Bana, ati kwa ma event huko hivyo party after party.
In our nighttime ratchetry.
But having this conversation was definitely dope, man. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. And stay safe.
Thank you.
Cool. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast and for rocking with me. If you like this interview and all the others that I've shared on my podcast, make sure that you do share with your friends across all your social media platforms, whether it's WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, wherever that you want to share this podcast at. Make sure that your friends know that some dope shit is happening. And also, you can follow me across all social media platforms at JustRubyV. If you have something that you want to talk to me directly, then you can hit me up on social media at JustRubyV. I'm gonna catch you for the pop-up on Wednesday, but for now though, peace.